Welcome back to the Future Leaders podcast. We help you gain insights into the minds of successful business owners. Today, I'm joined here with an absolute rock star, the founder of the Dream Out Loud method, founder of Dreamfest, with events hosting, bringing entrepreneurs together across thousands all over Australia. Morgan Nelson, thanks so much for joining us.
Mate, thanks for having me on.
This is awesome.
It's about time we sat down and had a chat.
It's a long time coming.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'd like to know from you is, when was the time when you realized that the person that you were had to die in order to move forward into the person that you wanted to be?
Man, it feels like it's every 6 months. and that's kind of the indicator of growth as well. You know, I was having a conversation here yesterday with the founder of Founder Magazine, Nathan Chan, and here's him growing a huge company, a massive brand, got 50 something staff. So I don't know what they'd be turnover. They'd be high 8 figures, turnover. And he was even saying the same thing. He's like, throughout my growth and throughout my journey, I kept realizing that there was this imposter syndrome coming up over myself. And I was having a chat with him. I'm like, this is everything that we do. I help you reframe your identity, because the thing is, our identity is the thing that's going to make or break us. We will always rise to the level and receive in whatever we are in vibrational match with. So whatever our identity believes we are, we will attract that into our life. Perfect example is if we look at someone like, say, Donald Trump. Probably a good or a bad example at this time, I don't know. But he's become a billionaire 2 times in his life. So he was a billionaire, then he went bankrupt. Okay, but then he came back out of bankruptcy and became a billionaire again for only one reason, because he had the identity of, I'm a billionaire. Okay, so if I have the identity of I'm a billionaire, then I will do behavior that a billionaire does. I will have belief systems that billionaires have. I will have values that billionaires have. So therefore, I will get results that a billionaire gets. And same thing can go with someone who's, oh, but I'm broke, or I'm not confident, or I'm not good enough. Well, what will happen is, you see, we try to predict what's about to happen, okay, based off all our past programming and our identity. Okay, so our brain can't actually analyze what's about to happen. It's just going to try to predict it based off our past feedback. But our past feedback is our old, outdated identity. Yep. So what happens is people get stuck in this feedback loop of what might happen, but they will, and I always have this quote I share, that we will never question who we think we are, okay? So we'll never question who we think we are, but we'll keep acting in ways to confirm who we think we are, because our identity craves one thing, and that's certainty. So we can get in this feedback loop of sabotaging because we keep acting in ways of who we think we are. So if I think I'm shy, if I think I'm broke, then I'm going to keep acting in ways to confirm that, even if that's not where I want to be. Okay, so I love breaking this pattern on people. So where was the line for me? It literally feels like every 6 months, because as we're growing, my identity, we hit a new level, and my identity starts to go, holy shit, like, when we were at Dreamfest, you were at Dreamfest, right? And I remember watching it. That was our biggest one we did. And I remember watching and going, holy shit, I don't know if I can handle this, right? And it's a weird thing to say, but it was on day 2, and I was watching the audience, and I'm like, I don't know if I can handle this. But handle what? I don't know what that was. But it was just the feeling in my body of the expansiveness to the next level. And that was my identity, again, going, oh, this is a new level, because I haven't experienced that yet. So I felt out of place. So it really does feel like every 6 months, because the rate that we're growing at. And it'd be a problem if it was anything longer than 6 months, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not a time where it's not a one-time thing. I could probably tell you the first time I became aware of this, and I was like, this is it, drawing the line in the sand. But since that day, it happens a lot. Every new level is a new devil of I've got to climatize to a new way of thinking, being, believing, and doing that feels comfortable with who I am, right? And so that's why growth is not comfortable. So to answer your question in a super roundabout way, there wasn't one time.
Okay.
It happens a lot. Yeah.
So for somebody who is trying to find out who they are, what are some strategies that you would go about to understand exactly what it is? When you say the ask who am I question, what would you say to them?
Well, you could look at this on 2 ways, right? I can give you this spiritual answer, which I'm
more than welcome.
I understand, but not to the point where I always do this. I would never open my mouth and talk about something unless I'm prepared to argue Piers Morgan on the matter, right? So I must know my subject matter to such a degree Where if Piers Morgan's at me, I'd be like, I'm confident with this, right? So I'm one of those people, I don't like to just talk shit for the sake of it. But when people go to the question, who am I? I mean, the spiritual ones, you can be like, well, who am I? And people go, well, I'm Morgan. Yeah, but who is Morgan? Well, I'm an entrepreneur. And we'll start to deliver these labels. And people, I think this is the paradox of life. We're pursuing another label because we've been told when we're younger that if you're not this, if you're not that, then you won't be something that you truly want. So if we go down the spiritual path, it's really about who are you? I don't what am I? What are you? What are we? What is this? What is all of this that we're actually living in? And I also love to live in a world of just practicality and what's useful as well. So that's why I like to entertain the whole spiritual realm of letting go and not putting labels on myself or wanting to pursue a certain thing or an identity or a label. Like I don't want to box myself as anything. But to be somewhat practical for the listeners, people who are young and they want to discover who they are, I think is an arbitrage question for them to ask to begin with. But if it'd be who am I, discovering like what's their life about, what's their purpose, these sorts of things, I like to say to people that our purpose can be found the crossover between the things that we're naturally good at, the things that we really love and that we're curious at, and then how can we be of service of other people with those things. So you guys have done that. You guys, well, I'm really good at this. I'm really good at bringing people together. I'm really good at these skills, and I'm good at teaching people, and I want to do this. So now you guys are about to launch something amazing, and because you found a way that I can help someone else do this. And that's where I think purpose is really found. The things you're naturally great at, the things you love and you're very curious at, and if you find a way, how can I serve someone else with this thing? That's what ignites you. That's really what I think. So people listen to this if they're a little bit lost. I like to call it my true north. And I have a whole series of questions that we go through with people, but they can ask lots of things. You can start to just look at your life and go, where do I spend my money? Where do I spend my time? Where do I spend my energy? If you're in a conversation, so if there's a conversation happening behind that wall, and if you walked around there and you heard them talking, what are they talking about that makes you instantly go, oh my God, I want to dive into this conversation, right? These things like that we spend our money on, our energy on, our time on, that we want to obsess on and talk about, these are indicating the direction we should be heading in life that we're fascinated about. I don't know why, but I'm just fascinated about the brain. I don't know why. I'm just so fascinated about that. So I love studying all things brain, neuroscience, body. And then now I found a way to how I can teach it, use it to my own life, and then teach it to other people, right? And I think that's how I've found my purpose. But yeah.
That's really cool. So it's like, leveraging what you've been able to do for yourself to also teach for others is kind of like how you got into what you're doing through learning the brain.
Yeah, I think it came from me because I think I wanted it earlier. Like when I found self-development, I was 21 years old. Before I was 21, I was a carpenter, right? Well, I was a carpenter still at 21, but I found self-development at 21. But before all this, I was angry. Like I was getting arrested all the time. I was fighting strangers in the street. It was a crazy, crazy world for me. I was just in this toxic sort of world, just angry, depressed, drinking all the time, partying all the time, drugs all the time. So then I found self-development at 21, and I just remember listening to a Jim Rohn CD. I don't know if you guys have listened to Jim Rohn. He was Tony Robbins' mentor.
That's some of the 5 people.
Yeah, he started that one, right? And he's like the GOAT. And I just remember him saying that, you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. I'm like, whoa, what? You're telling me that if I just find 5 people who are successful, I might become the 6th? Like, yeah. I'm like, holy shit. Then he said another thing. He's like, think positive thoughts and you'll create a positive life. And I remember hearing that going, like, whoa, profound. No one ever said to me, if you just think positive things, your life will improve. I was like, what? That's how green I was to that shit, right? And I remember even posting it on social media, and I had all these like attacked comments of like, you're an idiot, what are you talking about? People messaging me privately like, are you fucking drunk or something? Like that was the world that I was in. So I think once I drank the Kool-Aid and got into this whole world, and I like to explain of living in the world of black and white and color. See, I was in this land of black and white, where all I knew was black, white, that's it. And now I call them the bobbleheads, right? You live in this world of just being a bobblehead where you just like 99% of people are in this world where they're literally on autopilot. Okay, Andrew Tate calls them what, the NPCs, right? It's so true though. Like when you leave here today, just go and walk the street and just take a look, observe. The average person is just walking through life, stop at a stop sign because they have no fucking idea, just because they're on autopilot, right? Like, so I'm the sort of person that I'll go to a crossroad and I just use my own eyes, and if there's no fucking cars, I cross. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I just use the observation in my life. I'm like, I can become aware of that there's not a fucking car about to hit me, and I'm going to continue with what I need to do. Yeah. But you see, so many people are just in this cycle of just going through life, and they don't stop and actually observe and really critically think. And that's what I was just going through life, blaming everybody else, blaming life circumstances, blaming that I wasn't smart enough, good enough, all these things in school. And then I found self-development. I was like, holy shit, I can create anything I want.
How did you find it though? Because like, was there like a point in time where I was like, okay, this was the moment that converted me? Because like, how can the bobbleheads, what is the point in time they need to go through to become
it's awareness,
skilled?
right?
Yeah.
Listening to this, if they're listening to this podcast right now, they have no fucking excuse to be broke, to be poor, to be unhappy ever again. No fucking excuse, because they have awareness now, right? 12 years ago, back in my day, there wasn't podcasts and shit. Like there wasn't, we are living in a generation now where if you're broke, I can honestly say it's your fault, right? Because you haven't tried. Because we have a plethora of information out there. Like you can get on YouTube, you can get on, like everyone's got a podcast. There is so much information out there, so much books and everything that you could pick up the right thing and learn how to improve your mindset, learn how to make money, learn how to improve your skill set, and go after it, right? There's so many more people out there than just us talking about this. But 12, nearly 13 years ago when I got into this, there wasn't really. Okay, so I saw on social media, one of my friends, he was traveling all the time, he was buying properties, and I'm like, dude, you look like you got shit figured out. And I just messaged him, and I was like, man, can you tell me how to just make more money? Like, how do you do it? And he just said to me, he's like, dude, I'm doing this thing online. Why don't you come and check out this thing that we're doing? And he brought me down to a network marketing night, right? And I had no idea what network marketing was at all. Are you guys familiar with network marketing? A little bit? Yeah. Right, so I went down to this thing. I had no fucking idea what it was. But all I saw was these guys were selling, they were doing business online. And before that, I thought business, you had to be, a tradie or a brick and mortar type thing. Like, cause that was my whole environment that I was in. And we went down there and I saw all these people that were just like me. One of the guys got up there with a singlet and tattoos. He rode his brand new motorcycle in there that day. And he's like, oh, we just made 30 grand this week. I'm like, what? And he was 29 years old, making $1 million a year. And before that, he was working in a warehouse. And I was just like, this is crazy. No one ever told me that there was something out there that I could make like a different path. I had no idea about this. And that's what opened me to the personal development world. So I went down there. I thought it was a cult. I thought it was a scam. And then that was my first time where I was like, fuck, there's a land of color. So I was living in black and white. And it was the first time where I was like, what do you call this? Orange. What do you call that? Green. Holy shit. And that's what it was like. I was like, this is mind blowing. And that's when my friend left. We left there that night. I signed up. And he goes, here's a CD of Jim Rohn. He goes, just listen to this. And I went for, I think, 56 minutes. And my drive to work every single day was 52 minutes. And every single day I'd put it on and I'd drive. It was about 90 days straight. I listened to this recording every single day. And I'd rock up at the job site and I'd listen to the last 4 minutes before I got out of the car. And it started to change my philosophy for life. And I started to learn these things. You're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. I remember Jim Rohn would share the story of the sower and the reaper. He's like, the ambitious sower. He's like, if you're out there and you're sowing seeds, some seeds will fall on shallow ground, some seeds will fall on rocky ground, but eventually, if you keep sowing seeds, eventually one seed will fall on good soil and it's gonna flourish. And it changed my philosophy of getting over rejection, right? Because it was all about how to go through sales. And it's like, you'll put some seeds and it will grow. And you'll be like, yeah, amazing. But then the birds will come and destroy it. And he's like, don't worry about chasing the birds. He's like, the birds will get some. Don't worry about the birds. He's like, just keep planting the seeds. And that's where I started to change my philosophy of just like develop some ambition. I'm like, if I just keep doing the thing, if I keep sowing and reaping, eventually it'll work for me. So I started to shift these philosophies. But that's where it really, really began for me. And that's why I say I had to reach out to a friend, okay, because Instagram wasn't really a thing then. It was sort of on Facebook. I had to reach out to a friend who was kind of doing well. I said, how are you doing this thing? And he had to invite me. I went down to this night here on the Gold Coast. I had to sign up. I had to spend like $1,000. I had to go into self-development. And then the personal development journey began for me. I got really into this whole space. And then what I saw was I always like to say, like, we really created the trend of laptop lifestyle. I swear to God, when we were doing it, no one else was doing it. Like, because the whole online business was not a thing before. Yeah. And I remember saying to people back then when I was 22, 23, saying, here's the thing. The way the world's changing, you can't rely on one single income anymore. You need a side hustle. And if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work till the day you die. Like, we'll stay in this shit forever. And then what we saw during COVID, everything came real. People were losing their jobs, all this stuff was happening. And our businesses took off because people were like, oh shit, we need help. And I, between the ages of 23 and about 26, I traveled the world. I lived in Bali, Mexico, did all this stuff because I created freedom from my business. But that's where it really began. I had to dive right into all this shit. I spent over $500,000, probably nearly $600,000 in personal development, working with coaches, mentors, programs, masterminds, you name it. Because once I got into it, I was like, holy shit, if I can find someone who has the results that I want, I could pay them and say, can you teach me how to do it in half the time? And that has been like what's worked so good for me.
And now you've gone full circle, right? Now you run your own Dream Fest, which is exactly what you're explaining to get people in.
Yeah, like we have a whole education company, right? Of like, doesn't matter where people are at, we have the Dream Lad method is like our transformational program. Because for me in the beginning, I was fucked. My mindset was horrible. I had such a broke mindset, such a poor me, victim mindset. I had so many limiting beliefs. I wasn't good enough, I wasn't smart enough, I was too young to be successful, all of these things. I remember I hired a mentor one time to help me create video content because I was like, I can't do it myself. And all he did was come and hold a video with me and slap me on the fucking head when I didn't want to do it. That's it. Where he's like, here's the video, say the thing. I'm like, oh, I don't know what like, I remember I was so unconfident, right? I didn't even know how to talk to 60 seconds on a fucking camera. To do a 60-second video, it took us an hour and a half, right? And now when I get on stage at Dreamfest, I deliver a 3-hour presentation with like a few dot points because I can just flow, right? But it's definitely a journey. But this is what I'm getting at. Like if you're in 2025 and 2026 and you have ambition to be better than where you are and you're still broke, it is unfortunately 100% your fault. Because back then I had to really dig to find shit. Now, you can't get on social media without seeing someone who's going to motivate you, inspire you, give you some value, right? Like the amount of stuff that people like Alex Hormozy and stuff put out there, it's just, there's so much shit out there now where you can get access to and just plug in and get education and actually learn. You've got no fucking excuse anymore.
You have to try to fail.
Yeah.
You
to
really
actually
do.
succeed in failing.
And this is why we were saying before we were recording, the Gen Z population is like, I saw a study, it's about 57% of them in this age have said that they don't want to work a job somewhere. They want to be an entrepreneur. They want to be a business owner. The hard truth is not everyone can do it. Not everyone's an entrepreneur. And I believe I actually done some studying into this because I play in two worlds of science and optimism. So I'm like, you can be an entrepreneur, of course, if you choose, because I wasn't one, right? But I also, if I look back at my life, I was selling shit on the street to my neighbors when I was 9. Maybe it was kind of hardwired into me already. I don't know. But before people get all emo and be like, oh, but I never did that. Can I never have a business? You still live in a world of decisions. The decisions you make today will determine where you want to get to, in the next 10 years. And if you're like, I want to create a business, I want to have freedom, I want to be an entrepreneur, it's the decision. Go and fucking make it happen. I believe there's entrepreneurs, then there's intrapreneurs though. There's someone like me who's, I can't work for someone. Like I just couldn't. I'm a creator, I'm a visionary, I'm that. Then there's other people that have got that ambition in them and they want to do it, but they're not as risk tolerant. So then they're an intrapreneur and they dive in, they might hitch their wagon in someone else's business and become the CEO or the COO or the co-founder or something like that. They're like, you wear the risk, but I'm going to integrate behind you. And that's totally fine as well. But I done some study in this to see like, are entrepreneurs born or made? And this is what I found out. Because I went into the neuroscience sort of track on this. And I wanted to figure out, are entrepreneurs born or made? Unfortunately, you can't really get science on that. So I went one extra level. I said, what is the common trait nearly all entrepreneurs have? What is it? What do you think?
Resilience.
Yeah, I'd say risk tolerance, but also resilience.
Risk tolerance. Okay, so let's look at risk tolerance. Let's say on like a, I'll just say in case you don't get it, but would you say the average entrepreneur has ADHD?
Probably.
Probably. Right?
Yeah.
How many times have we heard, I have ADHD and dyslexia? Like, it's like the common fucking trait for an entrepreneur, right? Not that you need to have it. However, I would say it's like 95%. And I want to do a study. I want to go get 1,000 entrepreneurs and be like, how many of you have ADHD? I would say it's probably like 95%. And then I would want to reverse engineer this, okay? Because what we've done is this. So it's not a complete scientific study because I'm just throwing the guess out there that the average entrepreneur has ADHD. I would say it's high 90%. But one thing's for absolute certain. You know what that is? All entrepreneurs have a high tolerance to risk. Do you know what happens in our body chemically when you have ADHD? You have a dopamine deficiency. So everyone with ADHD has a deficiency in dopamine. A deficiency in dopamine means you've got to chase natural highs to bring yourself up so you feel alive. Meaning, you got to do high risk activities.
Yeah.
So not all entrepreneurs have ADHD. However, all entrepreneurs love risk. Everyone with ADHD has a dopamine deficiency, therefore they pursue risk. So I would say, like, shit, perhaps entrepreneurs are born. Perhaps they are born, and the majority of them actually have ADHD or something like this. They're like, fuck, I just need something with risk to get me excited. And then they naturally fall into business. But then obviously there's that 5% or so that they don't have to be ADHD, but they're just like, I want to be creative. And that's okay as well. That's why I'm saying, just because if you're listening to this right now, you're like, oh, fuck, I don't have ADHD. Does that mean I'm never going to be successful? No, like if you're a creative and you've got a big vision, you can absolutely go for it. I've just seen the latter quite a bit. People who are just like the crazy entrepreneurs, like, look at me. What I do on my days off is skydive. That's my hobby, right? So I was speaking to a neuroscientist all about this, and she's like, that's what you do? She's like, do you have ADHD? I'm like, I've never been told. But she's like, I'm a neuroscientist. You fucking have ADHD. She's like, you jump out of airplanes for fun and you build businesses on the side. 100%.
Speaking of, our following Dreamfest, I booked my own skydiving thing, locked it in.
Boom.
And you scared the shit out of me because you said, you look at, and there's a circle. When I went out, there was a circle when it initially came out. And then the instructor was like whooshing it around. And then it popped open. I was like, oh. It's like, how's my first time ever skydiving? And it comes up all body tangled. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah, people have no idea. If you tandem skydive, you literally are like, I mean, skydiving is pretty safe. Like it's.
Oh yeah, I probably felt more safe skydiving than bungee jumping because that's actually making a leap. You're going to the ground.
Bungee jumping, there's definitely been more accidents bungee jumping than skydiving. Skydiving is kind of like scuba diving. If you scuba dive, it's still dangerous, but it's usually only dangerous by user error. It's like, yeah, you can get yourself into trouble scuba diving, but what you need to do is not check your own gear, not stay up to date, and probably dive too fucking deep, go outside, or stay underwater. Like, don't listen to your safety precautions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you can get fucked up scuba diving. Same thing skydiving. If you're an idiot and you don't check your gear, and you try to jump out, and then you break past the hard deck, and you open too close to the ground, and you do dumb shit, you're probably gonna get yourself into trouble. Yeah. Right? Or like, because we'll get an email every single time. So when you're a skydiver, you're in the Australian Parachuting Federation. So we get an email every single time there's an incident, so someone who dies. And to be honest, we get an email about every month. So here in Australia, about every month someone's died skydiving. But every single time I'll look at the report and I'll see, because I'll do a whole breakdown how they die. Nearly every single time it's someone, okay, how many jumps they had? 500, 800, 1,000, 1,500, super expert jumpers. How'd they die? They died on impact, high performance landing. So what that is so when I skydive, I jump out and I come down this is me coming down for landing. This is a high performance landing. They go sideways and they go, and they come down to the ground and swoop up last second. And they might come down 150, 180 kilometer an hour. And they swoop up last second and they time it so they skim along the ground really fast. It looks badass when you do it. But if you time that wrong, you're coming straight down, bang.
Yeah.
So like I said, skydiving is a pretty safe sport until you try to push it to the extreme. That's what I've found. So I've already made an agreement to myself that the day I start jumping and it doesn't excite me as much anymore, right? If I jump out, I'm like, nah, then I need to push the boundary to get excited. That'll probably be the day I just stop. And I'll have to go find, I don't know,
So
bullfighting or something.
what's next?
Bullfighting.
Bullfighting?
Yeah.
Move
I
to
don't-
Spain and then take it
Yeah.
up.
I don't know, man. Racing cars. I don't know. For me, I take risks, but I take calculated risk.
Yeah.
I jump out of an airplane. I have a backup parachute. I open my parachute about 4,500 feet from the ground, about 2,000 feet higher than what I really need to. So your hard deck is 2,500. You like don't open below there. So I open at 4,500. So that way, if I have a malfunction, if something breaks, I've got about another 10-ish seconds to fix that.
Figure it out.
Right? Well, I've actually got a little bit longer because you got about 10 to 15, 20 seconds before you hit the ground.
Okay.
So I have 20 seconds
Yeah.
to fix it, right? Which is essentially, that's fucked. Okay. That's 5 seconds. Okay. Make a decision. Get rid of it. I'm going to cut it off. That's for 7 seconds. I'm going to open my second one. 8 seconds. Bang. It's open. So I've probably already got another parachute above my head before I even hit my hard deck again. So I take calculated risk. For me, anything below that is just dumb. Same as in business. Like I take risk, absolutely, but then there's dumb risk.
Yeah.
Dreamfest is a risk. I spent a lot of money to put that event on. And anything, the government could just be like, oh, COVID again. And anything could change. That's definitely a risk. However, it's calculated risk. Like if I lost everything, can we still survive? Yes. That's how we operate.
Talk to me about Dreamfest. How was that whole process for you running, like, I think Australia's largest entrepreneurial event?
Yeah.
Like, what did you have to do to get to a stage where you can run such a big event, and then like tell me a little bit behind the scenes on what actually goes on that people don't see when they experience just how good it is.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on, man. But so this is our 5th year running it next year. I was just chatting to, I can't tell you who might be our next speaker for next year. So we're already, we've already got dates booked for next year, which I think is August 21, August 22. I haven't told my audience about that yet. So anyone watching this, mark those dates, baby. All right. Here on the Gold Coast again, same venue again, because it's just a badass venue.
It's a cool venue.
It's so cool there, right? And it will sell out. So it sold out last year. So when we announced it, we want to just completely sell this bitch out and then fill up virtual this year. This is the 5th year doing it. No one sees mega success. That's the event that we don't talk about. It was a mega fucking failure. It was horrible. So 4 or 5 years ago, I had the idea. I'm like, I want to run like a big conference, like a party, like a festival for entrepreneurs, and this is what I want to do. So I'm a ready, fire, aim guy. So if I have an idea, take action before we're ready. This is literally how we operate around here. It's like we're not waiting for the perfect time. Here's the idea, bang, do it. Like I'm hiring people, I'm creating chaos, and then we hire people around us to help make sure that it happens. Otherwise, that's how I force shit happening, right? Otherwise, if you wait for the perfect time,
Like virtual, you only got virtual up and
exactly.
going.
6 days.
Yeah.
6 days. We literally had to replicate everything we're doing in person to do a virtual option to give them an amazing experience. We had a host on there, everything in there. Then we still sold 160, 180 tickets or some shit in 6 days. Just crazy.
Just a cheeky heart attack to JoJo.
Yeah. She was all right.
Yeah,
she
she's cool.
can handle it. It's what she's built for. So Mega Success was an event we ran because I had this idea, but I had about a 6-week lead in. Okay, because I had this idea. I'm like, when can I do it? I have a busy year this year. Boom, we're going to do it this date. Got a venue, bang. And I literally thought in my head, if I just put an event out, if I just put pictures of people who are going to speak there and everyone promoted it, we'd easily get 200 people there. So we got a huge venue to house about 200 or 300 people. We started promoting it. We put it all out there. We didn't have any ads or anything like this. And what I realized is it's hard to promote an event. So about 4 weeks went past and we had 30 tickets sold. I was like, fuck me. And we got this whole venue, everything sorted. And then I asked a friend, I was like, can you help me with ads? And then they sort of sold us this dream of like, oh yeah, if you put 15 grand ads, we'll easily get like 100 people there. And I'm like, wow, amazing. Okay, well, here's money, make it happen, get 100 people there. We put all this money in the ads. I think we sold 3 tickets. Nothing was just working at all. And then the the night before the event, I think we had something like 70 tickets sold or something. And I'm like, this is crazy. This sucks. But like, 70 people, maybe if they all show, then that would be okay. But the night before the event, we got hit here in Australia, like here on the Gold Coast, with the hardest storm and floods we had in like over a decade. And it fucked up North Brisbane. Crazy, huge storm. It was so bad, the next morning I woke up, I didn't want to leave my house. Like, it was torrential, not just rain, storm, fucking psychoticness. One of those days where you just don't leave home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I don't even want to go, why would anyone else want to come to this event? Like, of course no one's going to be coming to this event. Like, but then to top it off, we had speakers who got cut off, their roads got cut off, they couldn't even make it to the event. So I'm like, shit, if they can't make it, we definitely have guests. So they couldn't make it. So because I've always got a plan B, I take calculated risk. We got our videographers to quickly pivot, open up online access. So we managed to actually get about 30 people to come online, and then in person, I think we had about 35 people. And I'm sitting there, and we had all this stuff in my head. I had this big vision of like hundreds and hundreds of people there, and I'm sitting there in the fetal position out the back, like, like it was just like such overkill, right? Like we had like this green room, it had gifts and all this. I'm like, this is shit. Like we've really got more people in our team than like.
Yeah.
So anyway, but instantly I was just in my head, I'm like, look, there's people here. Let's just do this thing. And naturally, straight away after, I go, what can we learn from this event? And I remember everything just failed. Like we made it. We had to make money. So I had to pitch a product, and I pitched this podcast course. Then no one bought it, and because the whole slides was broken, clicker wasn't working, everything. It was just every possible thing that could have went wrong, went wrong.
Yeah.
But I got lucrative. I managed to like still do some sales that day, and we made some money, and it was just awful. So what I said to everyone at the end of the day, I'm like, this is the shittest event I've ever done. I'm going back to the drawing board, but you're all getting free tickets to an event I'm running later this year. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm giving you all free tickets. And everyone's like, this is an amazing event. I'm like, no, it was shit house compared to what I know I could do.
Yeah.
So we went back to the drawing board. Oh, and to top it off, there's this other loser. I'm not gonna mention his name, but he's in America. They run an event called Mega Success.
Oh yeah, I know that person.
Yeah, and he was DMing me like, bro, you're stealing my name. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I'm gonna sue you. And then so we're literally trying to like go back and forth. And he's not just he's quietly, he's been in the industry a while, right?
Not like the smallest person ever.
Yeah. But he's just an industry bully, and no one likes him. That's why he's been in the industry for so fucking long, and still no one knows him. I mean, the only way he gets clout is paying for celebrities to sit next to him, but that's so good. So anyway, he's DMing me like all this crazy stuff, and I'm just trying. This was 5 years ago. I'm 26 years old, just going. I'm just trying to put on an event for people. I'm this kid on the Gold Coast. I have 30 fucking people in the audience, and I have this guy going, "I'm gonna sue you" and all this shit. So we learned like all this stuff, and then I ended up winning that anyway. Just in the DMs with him, I'm like, send me a cease and dismiss, and we're gonna look into it. And I'm like, there's nothing trademarked here. In fact, I might take the trademark here in Australia for that name actually, and all this shit. And it just fucked with him. It was hilarious. So. But then I just thought, I was like, wow, like, isn't that interesting that you get the attention of these bigger people when you really try to go for it? And that's what happens as well. So that event was shithouse. Longest story cut short, we then put Dreamfest on later that year, and it just changed. Like, I sat down, I was like, how do we make this so much better? What did I learn from this? What didn't work? What worked? And we really went to the drawing board, and we did a longer promotion. What makes someone want to come to an event like that? Like, what excites them? Why are they wanting? How do you actually market properly? How do you communicate properly? And then I think we sold about 280 tickets in our first year. That was awesome. And then each year we increased by about 100. So in year 2 Dreamfest, we had about 350 in the room. Year 3 Dreamfest, we had about 450. And then this year we fucking destroyed it. We sold about 1,200 tickets actually at Dreamfest. So yeah, we completely sold out 2 times. And then I had to open up a virtual option in the last week, which I never wanted to do that because Dreamfest is an experience, right? So I was like, how could we, because that's the question. I didn't want to say, I'm not doing virtual. I go, how could we still do virtual, but do it in a way where when they attended, they felt like they were at a festival still. Yeah. So that's what we did, and I think we pulled it off.
Like from the moment you sit down, you had like the LED people come out, and it's just like, oh shit.
Everything.
You're like, you have no idea what to expect when that's the first thing you see, and it definitely paid off.
It's the little details, like even we put on the big screen, like our logo is like subtly moving.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
like these little things. Like how do I just make everything feel like something? You know, instead of just like a fucking image, I'm like, no, we gotta have a moving image on the screen all year, like all day, like this. You know, but like I sat with our designers for months on that. I'm like, a little bit faster, a little bit slower. Change this cloud here, make that a little bit. So I was like, it's got to look like it's moving, but not distracting. And you know, so all these little tiny things to create it as a scene, and then obviously, shit goes wrong all day as well. The projector broke. We lost the whole fucking screen, and like, I mean, there's always things that just goes wrong.
Can't make that one up.
Things are never going to go right.
Yep. So how do you build like the risk tolerance to run such a big event? Because there's like a lot riding on you on that sort of performance. How do you make sure that you get the return that you're looking for on it? Like, how can you justify it?
Well, obviously now you got to understand basic things of business. So we do so many things in our business now where I understand how much it costs us to acquire a customer. So what's our CAC? What's our LTV? Things like this. And then, so like what we just did when I put together, so obviously on day 2, you know, we sold an offer, and what I actually calculated was if I do day 1 well enough, we've already profit. And that was my goal. So I was like, because this year, usually in the past, we've had to find other ways to sort of make profits from the event, maybe do a sponsor and shit like this. And I don't really like to do sponsors, so I always do like to lucrative sponsors. So we had some sponsors, but half of them with my other companies, and some of them that we sponsor were just good people that I like. And you know, so how do I take the risk for is, like I said, I take all calculated risks. That's the thing. Like, it's dumb to just go into an event like that blind and go, here's 200 grand or whatever, and go, bam, go make this happen. Everything's calculated. Like, and this is the thing. Like, I did some studying into some of the biggest investment firms on the planet where they manage huge companies. And they've done a study to see what the number one biggest commonality is between all the best CEOs on the planet. What do you think is the number one trait the best CEOs have?
Decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going back to risk tolerance?
I don't know.
Risk tolerance.
Risk tolerance. The number one characteristic of all top performing CEOs of these fund companies, right? These hedge fund companies, is they look at their business like an investment.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, sure, they're leaders, they're good communicators, they're good at risk tolerance, all this, but they act and think like investors. So every decision is, what is the ROI on this decision? So yes, they take risks because investments is about making risk. However, a smart investor takes calculated risk. Okay, this is a good time to buy. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to deploy resource here, knowing that it might take me 6 months or whatever. It's like, I just made an investment before, okay, with some AI stuff in our company, and this is exactly what was going through my head. My team were like, do you want to make this payment? And I'm like, yeah. So I quickly messaged the guy again. I say, hey, how long is this going to take us to set up? How long realistically, what's required from me to help you get this set up? So essentially, what's going to be the timeline? After I pay you, what's going to be the timeline, all right, for us to start using this product? What's going to be invested from me, my time, energy, and effort? Cool. And he's like, yeah, about 5 or 6 weeks. Good. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you money that I'm not going to see anything from for a minimum 6 weeks. Right? And then I'm going to have to invest some time, energy, money into this as well, knowing that if this does the right thing, probably in the next 6 months, this will really make a lot of money for us. Right? So, dang, good. Okay, good decision. I'm not just being like, oh, yep, bang. I'm looking at everything. So if I allocate this resource of time, energy, effort, money, when am I getting the return on that investment? And that's how you got to be looking at it. So with Dreamfest, it's the same thing. Yes, I know I'm going to be putting money into it. And this is what it comes down to. So for me to make the imagery on the LED screen costs thousands of dollars. Right? But I'm like, but what's going to be the ROI on that? What's the ROI? You can't measure that. What's the ROI on the experience that someone's going to have when they sit there and they notice that and go, wow, that's cool. That you can't measure that, which is why I'm willing to spend. Well, how much is that worth me? Well, let's spend a couple grand within budget. But then I would have my threshold eventually going like, would I spend 20 grand on that? No, you know, I have a threshold. But when we look at everything, you know, so for marketing and sales, essentially that's why you got to know your numbers. What's your CAC? How much does it cost you to acquire a customer? What's your LTV? What's the lifetime value of that customer? You know, and so now we have 4 years of data to understand this, but not just 4 years of Dreamfest data, 4 years of everywhere else where I make an offer. So on day one, I knew, I'm like, well, if we get this amount of people here, I make this offer in this way, and we do this conversion, I already know from that one day we've actually broken even. Therefore, what I'm willing to do is completely risk everything on day two to test. And that's what I did. So I changed day two completely. I've never done it like that ever in the past. I was like, this is either going to work really good or it's not going to work at all. And that was the risk I did. So I knew that I could walk away from that and go, well, at least we haven't lost money. And now I learned. Okay, so I paid to learn, get that lesson, or it's going to work. And I took that risk. It worked really good. It was like it's our biggest day ever.
Yeah.
So it worked good.
So that like learning how to manage risk is obviously a skill that you've developed over time, right? How did you learn that skill? Was it purely through trial and error and learning yourself? Did you have mentors who taught you? How did you come up with that skill?
It's experience. You can't teach risk tolerance, I think. Yeah, everyone's got their own
But
flavor.
like looking at the different areas of an opportunity though, right? Like that, having the perspective to see all different angles, I think is definitely a skill.
Yeah, it's
How you
experience.
teach it? Yeah.
It's experience. Even my partner said to me this week, she's like, you've grown so much this year, you know, and it comes from just because I've just got more experience now. Like the decisions I've got to make now are so much bigger and cost so much more than what they were a year ago. We're really growing a big team here. We have a lot of staff, and like every decision, I've got to make decisions based off trying to predict the future based off what's happened in the past, right? So it's an experience thing, but risk tolerance comes from, you know, there's the best way to actually learn risk tolerance is to develop self-trust, because that's really where it comes from. Because when I first started skydiving, I didn't have that risk tolerance of like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, let's go jump out of an airplane. I was scared. I was like, this is a dumb idea. My brain was saying, this is stupid, right? You've done one day of study. Now tomorrow you go jump out with nothing but a backpack. That's dumb, right? So for me, it wasn't there yet. But what I started to do was I started to look around and collect evidence and information to start to understand how could I develop this self-trust, because I asked myself the question when I skydived, I'm like, what are you so afraid of? And it wasn't fear of falling or anything like this that people usually think when they go skydiving. What I said to myself was, what if you don't open your parachute? I go, why the fuck would I not open my parachute? I'm like, I don't know, but like, what if? It's a possibility, okay? It's definitely a possibility. You could jump out, hit your head, and not open it. You could jump out and realize, okay, you know, I've lived pretty good. I'm just gonna, splat. That's I might just make a decision. I don't want to live anymore, right? Like, it's a what if. It's absolutely a possibility. So then it hit me, and I said, it's not about fear or anything like that. You don't trust yourself. I was like, holy shit, that's so true. So what was really happening was I didn't have the self-trust in that moment to do the thing that I had been trained to do at the time that it might arise. Because I was freaking out. What if I open it and I get line twists? What if it doesn't work? Well, then I'm gonna have to do my emergency procedures, which I still haven't today had to do emergency procedures in the air. I'm not that excited to have to do it. One day I will have to, surely. But that was the thing. It's like the fear is only coming from what if that happens? Well, if it happens, do the things you know what you need to do. So the fear was actually, well, you don't trust yourself to do what's necessary in the moment. So the more I do things that are actually outside my comfort zone, this is where self-trust comes from. You stay in your comfort zone and you're only going to be familiar with everything that you know. You're a zone of competence. But if you expand out and you do something that is uncomfortable for you, you do that, and yes, it's scary for the moment. But as soon as you do that thing, like you go skydiving, right? You play petrified in the beginning, like fuck this. But as soon as you do it, you land on the ground, you go, let's go again. That was amazing. Is that what you wanted to do after you jumped?
Yeah, of course.
You wanted to go again, right? That's every single time I've talked to someone, I didn't want to skydive. Then I did it, and the only thing I wanted to do was go again, right? It happens every time because you expand to this zone that you didn't think was possible. Then you gain evidence going, holy shit, I'm so much more capable than what I thought I was. Then you come back into the present moment, but with a little bit more information, and your comfort zone's expanded now. And you're like, whoa, I didn't know I was capable of that. And then you go, maybe do it again. Maybe you bungee jump. Maybe you go ask a stranger on a date. Maybe you go and talk to a stranger on an airplane. Maybe you go and start a business. Maybe you go and fail a business. Then you go hire people and you train people and you and it keeps expanding. And your own zone inside of yourself of what you can actually handle expands. And this is where self-trust comes. So the more risk I can handle is direct correlation with how much I trust myself. And so I continually look for situations to put myself in that are outside my comfort zone. And you don't have to do what I'm about to share with you. This is what I did. I love, when I was 21, I found out about your money zone equals your comfort zone. So every single time I was like, I'm uncomfortable doing that, I would do it. If I was uncomfortable talking to a stranger, I would do it. If I was uncomfortable asking for a sale, I would do it. If I was uncomfortable getting on stage, I would do it. And then eventually what happened is I become really comfortable doing all these things that used to be uncomfortable for me, right? And because I just don't care, because I have this self-trust, I have this self-esteem where I don't care to be seen doing something that's silly or whatever, because I'm like, your opinion doesn't matter to me. And then last year, after doing skydiving and all this stuff, I'm like, what else is out there? And I went to Vegas, and I have some friends who live in Vegas, and they work with this guy. There's a training company out there, and what they are, they train Israeli anti-terrorism units. Okay. So in the most active war zone on the planet, right, through the Middle East, they train the people who they're anti-terrorism units, right? So they're doing fucked up wild shit. So the combination of like special forces and like not like Mossad, CIA secrets, like it's crazy stuff. So we went out there, we did some training. I thought we were gonna do like gun training, weapons training and stuff. And they go, have you ever been kidnapped? I said, no. They go, we're gonna put you through that first. I'm like, okay, okay. And in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I know I'm going to be kidnapped. But I tell you what, when a shotgun actually goes off right next to your head, because they shoot a blank right next to your head, that tells your brain shit's on, right? So they shoot a fucking gun off next to your head. They come in, they throw you on the ground, handcuff me, bagged me, rough you up, throw you in the back of the car. Shit's going crazy. And this went on for like an hour. They waterboarded me, and people were like, but you knew what was happening. Well, when you're getting waterboarded, right? Like your brain's kind of like, this is wild. And then when you get tasered, your body wakes up, right? So all the most wild shit and stuff, like he's pulling my finger going like, I'm going to cut your finger off, right? Like, tell me. Like, and then he has a taser, a knife, and he starts putting a taser knife on your finger, and your mind feels like your finger's being cut off. Like wild shit, right? And then after that, it's like we break it all down. And then the whole reason for that is goes, cool, now you know what it feels like to be kidnapped. Now let's put you through a training to make sure you never get yourself in that situation. Right? Then we do all this combat training, knife training, gun training, how to get out of being kidnapped, psychological training, like all this stuff. But that was so interesting for me to go to this whole other level that I'd never imagined. But I tell you what it's done for me now, between skydiving, working with CIA operatives, and doing anti-terrorism unit training and stuff like this, I have self-trust and confidence like crazy. So I'm like, fuck, every other situation. So when business goes bad, I'm like, this is nothing, right?
Waterboard me,
like,
we'll find out.
Yeah, like fuck, I've been in more intense situations than this in the past. And that's how it happens. So people who want to develop risk tolerance, dive into things that are very uncomfortable, because you'll come back with more feedback and go, fuck, I've handled that. I can handle that.
Where do we sign up?
To be honest, I've thought about bringing him over here and doing training here, or running a big camp for, especially like dudes, because I think there's so many just pussy guys out there these days. I'm like, we gotta, right? It's not about going to a men's camp where we like make you do army crawls and shit. Like, no, we're gonna fucking kidnap you and tell you how to fight and protect people properly. Yeah. So I'll let you know if we do something.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I can kidnap you after here. A little bit of fun if you want.
Riley, clear my calendar. So you've recently become a father as well, so congratulations.
Thank you.
What I'd love to know is, how has that changed and shaped the way that your values are and what you want to instill into them?
Yeah, I get to ask this a lot, and it hasn't changed to the degree where people probably think. Like sometimes people, you know, what it's really done for me is increase priorities in life, but it's strengthened boundaries for me. That's the main thing. Like I'm quite ruthless with boundaries now and time allocation. So what I've actually realized is, like, we're growing faster than we ever have before, and I have a 4-month-old, and I'm in the best health and shape I've ever been as well, because I just live in this realm. I'm like, I'm not gonna sacrifice either. Like, I want to have it all. I want to have great relationships with my partner, health, business, and quality time, and happiness. I want to have all of that. So all it's done is allowed me to get, okay, if I'm gonna have all of that, how do I have to become really ruthless with my time? What do I need to start saying no to? So this is the first. I did a podcast yesterday. This is the second podcast I've done in over a year, because I'm just like, I just say no to them all, because I just don't. It's just not the best use of my time, right? So I think we free up some time, because obviously I like you guys, and I'm like, let's fucking do this. But it's just like I've become really ruthless with saying no to nearly everything that comes across my plate. Like, I just get asked all the time, you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do this? And it's just no. Because if it's not attributing to growing the company and pursuing my mission or having quality time with my family now, it's usually a no. And what I found is I can get a lot done with still the time and still have really awesome quality time. Like, I don't do anything before 10 o'clock every day still. So I wake up, go to the gym, and hang out with Cole every single morning. I went for a walk with him this morning. I've got that quality time. I come home, I see him before I go to bed. But also we operate in seasons. So we're in a really on season right now. And in a month, we take them all we spend 10 days in Fiji together. I come home for 5 days, do a couple of events. Then we spend 4 weeks in Bali together. So it's good. So it's, for me, it's just got me really hyper-focused on what's really, really important. Making sure that my days are really filled and jam-packed with the things that are actually important and not just stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's why people are not successful, because they do stuff, but it's not the highest use of their time. So I'm always trying to find what's that 20%. Everyone talks about it. I think it's even less than 20%. I think it's about 10%. I try to find that. What's that 10% of things that when only I can do this and I'm the best at this, I'm gonna make decisions on this. I feel those things and I delegate 90% of things.
Well, that's what I mean. One of my favorite things is from Dan Martell is your inbox is a to-do list for other people.
Yeah.
Everybody, when's the last time you got messaged something and it was just telling you something great? It was always asking for something or asking for something. So now what I've been getting into the habit of doing every now and then is just saying, hey, I love what you're doing. Just to get into the habit of, because if I open my inbox and I just saw I love what you're doing, it'd be like, thank you so much. And it doesn't have to mean it. It doesn't have to be anything.
Like you're sending that to people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Genuinely, because that's what I would like to receive. Like, I don't necessarily care what they say back.
Yeah.
But you give out what you would like to receive. But if every time I was getting a message is saying that I want something from you, I'm like, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I want to be able to give generously and be able to receive generously.
I love it. Yeah, like I was on the podcast yesterday and we were talking about planning my week and stuff. She's like, so what do you do now? I'm like, well, I don't, everything's outsourced. Like, so I created the system to plan my week, but I have an assistant who runs it all. So, because I hate my emails. I never look at my emails ever. This morning was the first time I looked at it in maybe 3 months because I purchased something and I need to get access to it straight away. So I was like, if I didn't have the logins saved on my computer, I don't even know my logins. I hate it. Because to me, it's just like sometimes there's opportunities in there, but less than 1% of the time. But yeah, I have an assistant. She goes through it all. She does it all. She tells me where I need to be. That way I can focus on, Dan Martell's big for this, but I've had an assistant for a long time, maybe 10 years. Maybe 10 years ago. I had an assistant when I had a job. I just had a VA online because I was like, there's things that are not worth my time, like booking airplane trips, paying bills, just little bits of shit I'm not gonna do. So I'd have somebody online and that's why people think that like they can't afford one, but they can. Like my first VA, I think was like $6 or $7 an hour and she'd do 5 or 10 hours a week for me. So I was like, I'm gonna spend $50 a week to just outsource crap too that I don't want to think about or do myself and have someone else do it. It's amazing.
How much were you making at the time when you did get your assistant?
I was a carpenter. I was still working full time.
So like
so maybe
seven.
I was making about $2,000 a week.
Okay, $2,000 a week. Yeah.
Yeah, I was working 60 hours a week, $40 an hour.
Pennies on the dollar.
What's that?
Pennies on the dollar compared to
but people just don't think that. They think people really do think that the life they want to live is very far away. Same. We were in New Zealand a few weeks ago, and we took a bus. Like it's just with all my friends. We run like this annual friends trip now, and all the friends we went with, like they're very, very wealthy, right? And so we're having like an awesome trip, and we're all like, let's go snowboarding this day. And we didn't really know how to get to the mountain, so we're like, I think you just get a bus. So we all meet in town. We get on this bus. And we're on this fucking piece of shit bus up the mountain for an hour, and we're all like everyone's just kind of like. We finally get there. All right, let's go fucking snowboard. And I look over as we're arriving, and I see this big circle space, and I'm like, you reckon that's to land a chopper? and we're like, I don't know. I'm like, I wonder if you can get a chopper up here. So we took the bus. Then we took the bus back home that day, and we're all like, fuck this. That was a lot of effort to go snowboarding. So we had a day off, and then the next day I was like, I want to go back on the slopes in the following day. Like the weather looks good, but fuck getting a bus. So I got Riley looking at us. I said, see if you can get us a chopper. Next minute, yep, you can get a chopper. Good. Book a chopper, 8 seats. I told everyone, hey guys, we're taking a helicopter to the mountain. We're going to be there in 6 minutes instead of 60 minutes. Fucking easy, right? And that's what we did. And we paid per person and go up the mountain, something like $50 or something, right? On the bus, right? That's what the thing was, right? And we're all in couples. The helicopter was something like $250 per person or something, right? So obviously 5 times more, but $200, that was the difference. It was only $200. You're already on, and I know some people listening, but hold on, let's put in the context.
Yeah.
I'm already on a trip spending a bunch of money anyway. We're in Queenstown. $200 more. That's all it was for us to arrive in fucking style and take a helicopter and be on top of the mountain in 6 minutes instead of a shit bus. We slept in. We drove to the airport, which was 5 minutes around the corner. We got off. All our weight was already done. We literally walked in. We're on the helicopter within 10 minutes. We're on the fucking mountain in 6 minutes. And we always said to each other, we're like, traveling has really changed from this point onwards, hasn't it? And then how we got off the mountain that day, we had a bus just come pick us up, and they had champagne and everything. It was amazing. And we're like, yeah, we spent a little bit more money, but look at the experience. The experience we got was this like royalty experience. Like if you were a royal, how would you get to the snowfield? You'd helicopter. How would you get off the snowfield? Maybe helicopter. We couldn't get it back. I forget why. But you'd probably get a big luxury Mercedes bus, pick you up with champagne waiting. So we had this royalty experience for only an extra $200. And so people think that the thing that they really want is actually really far away, and they block themselves from even looking into it. It's like, look into that thing you want. It's probably a lot closer and manageable than what you really think it actually is.
That's like us. We chartered an empty legs private jet flight just down to Proserpine. Just got a couple of mates. We had 6 seats.
Just for fun?
Just for fun. And then we're like, the flight back on Jetstar was like the most depressing thing ever, but it was like $350. And
per person?
Per person for us to get back. It was something was going on. I don't know what was going on. But the flight for us to get there, it was about $600 each.
Wow.
On this private jet. So we got a private jet. We had no customs, no nothing. Just walk on, catch the flight there, and it cost us double the amount the Jetstar flight does.
Yeah. Like
insane.
There's the life you want to live can be achieved a lot sooner than what people probably think it actually is. Yeah, like I was chatting to my partner this week, and we talk about this a lot actually, because she's like, we need to make hundreds of millions of dollars. I said, yeah, like we'll do it, sure. But I don't think you understand just how much $1 million profit is a year as well. Like $1 million in your bank every year. Your lifestyle is really not changing past about $600K a year. Your lifestyle is really not changing much anymore. You make $600K a year, $50K a month. You're living in a very nice house. You drive the car you want. You go to dinner 3, 4, 5 times a week, wherever the fuck you want. You travel whenever you want. You wear whatever you want. You eat organic. You have a cleaner. You have a cook. Fuck else do you want to do? Your lifestyle is not changing that much more past that. And so people think that to create this dream life that they want is really far away, and it's often actually a lot closer and more manageable than what you really think. And I get people to do this thing. I get them to draw their dream calculator, right? So how do you create, what's your dream life going to actually cost you? So if you get really clear on what your dream life is going to cost you, you go and build that life, not the one that you think you should do on social media. So I get people to go, okay, top left quadrant, what's your current life expenses now? Top right quadrant, what's your current business expenses if you have any? Okay, you put these things together, you have, that's the amount, that's how much I'm spending right now. Bottom left quadrant, you go, what's my dream life expenses? Okay, how much do I want to be spending in my dream life? How much do you want to spend on rent, car, travel, donation, all these stuff? You put all that together, and then how much do you want to be spending? What's your dream business expenses? So for me, I was like, well, I'd love to hire an assistant. And I did all, like when I first did this, I put this together. In my head, I thought I had to build multiple 7-figure business. When I first done this, it came down to I needed $415,000 a year. That's all I had to make to live my dream life.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, wow, I'm traveling all the time. I'm eating organic. I live in a nice house. I have the car I want. I'm doing all this. I have an assistant. I tell you what, building a $400,000 business and building $1 million business is a fucking big jump. $400K a year business is easy as shit. Jump from $500,000 to $1 million is you guys step into it, become a really big leader. You gotta develop team, processes, systems. It's a big fucking jump. So why put yourself through a process of building that if you don't actually want to? People do it because they look on social media and like, I have to be a 7-figure entrepreneur. But you just said you just flew private. You spent $600.
Yeah.
the dream life is actually a lot closer.
So what's your mission at the moment?
Our mission now is to, we just updated it. Our mission now is to help entrepreneurs scale their business, scale their freedom business, and actually create their dream life, right? So our new mission is in 10 years, our big, hairy, audacious goal is to have a new person in our community every single month making their first $1 million cumulative, right? Hitting their first $1 million business. And we want to be creating a 6-figure business owner. So someone who's turned over their first, 10K a month every single hour. That's our goal. So we want to have it happen in our ecosystem where through our training, through our education, because we've got our Dream Lab Method program, we have a speaker training, we literally run in a couple of days. We have a business program. So we have these like lower tier programs so people can come. Then we have our mentorship program. So we've actually just launches next week actually, a Fast Foundations masterminds for people, really helping them go to their first 6-figure business. So from $0 to $10,000 per month. And so doing that, then we have our high tier masterminds for it really scaling to $1 million and beyond. So our whole program is how do we expand everything and just give people literally the skill set and mindset they need to create their dream life, whatever that is for them. So yeah, our mission is we'll be successful as a company when we know we have someone in the community every fucking hour going, I see my 10K month, 10K month, 10K month, 10K month. Every hour we want that. And every month I want someone going, we ticked over $1 million, ticked over $1 million. So that'd be awesome. And then probably I think the 6-figure one is going to be a big goal. The 7-figure one, I think I'm actually underestimating. I think we should probably, in 10 years, we're probably doing more than.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if in probably 4 or 5 years, people are like, yeah, a mil, first mil. And they'll be like, fuck, in 10 years, we need to have 10 people a month hitting their first million. So,
well, how big would your community be at that point?
I have no idea. Yeah. I want to have 1,000 people in our mastermind. That'd be awesome. And then like my vision is, I was thinking about this morning, I'm like, how awesome would it be? Because in our mastermind, we run like a legitimate mastermind where like a lot of people these days, like I have a mastermind and it's like not a mastermind. It's like a coaching community. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like coaching community is not a mastermind. A mastermind is we have a group of amazing people and it's a combination of mentoring, coaching and masterminding. So we have all the stuff that happens every single day in our mastermind community, but then every quarter we have a deep dive inner circle immersion every single quarter. So everybody comes here. Well, actually, in a few weeks, we go to Fiji. So we take everyone to Fiji at the end of this year, and we take our trip over there. And then I've got access to some amazing guest speakers. So we pull guest speakers in who are just the best. We have one of the top YouTubers on the planet coming to speak in Fiji. He actually got more views this month than Mr. Beast. So he's coming to train everyone on how to grow YouTube, right? So I bring these experts in to help them just get access to people that they can't otherwise. But then we have fun. We're doing fun shit together. They mastermind with other people. They're meeting other business owners going, I'm stuck on this problem. How are you solving that? And they're collaborating. That's proper masterminding. So I had this vision. I was like, I want to get 1,000 people in there. So every quarterly event we do, it's like a fucking dream fest, right? So I'm like, then we'll bring in like parties and entertainment and all this stuff. So every quarter people can just be like, this is off its head. Yeah. And why would I want to be? It's like a festival every quarter, but they get to level up, grow, meet amazing people, scale their business, get the recognition that they deserve. Because in the entrepreneurship world, there's no recognition, right? You work so fucking hard, no one sees it. So we want to give people recognition that they deserve when they hit really big milestones, 6 figures, 7 figures, all this stuff. So that's my vision. That's what we're doing.
Love it. Epic. Well, Morgan, it's been an amazing chat. A lot of fun. Who in your network would you like to see on the Future Leaders podcast next?
Oh, who in my network would I like to have on here? First person who came to mind, you should bring on Chris Payton.
Oh yeah, the breathworking guy.
Yeah, he's in our mastermind. He's actually him and his partner Shani. They're our first members to hit the $1 million status in our mastermind, and they're awesome. Like they've got Australia's #1 breathwork certification company. They're crushing it. They're all around great people, great entrepreneurs, great people, and they're good at what they actually do as well. So yeah, you should bring him on.
Amazing.
Cool.
Thank you. Where can people find you, Morgan? They haven't already.
Instagram and YouTube are our best places. So Instagram, go Morgan T. Nelson. We have a bunch of free stuff in there as well, like which I forget. Like, what do we even have for them these days? We have one of the best things that we have for people is I have like a daily hypnosis, like because I'm a hypnotist as well, and I like to rewire people's brains. It's kind of what we do. they can DM me the word HYPNO, HYPNO, and I'll send them a free Millionaire Mindset hypnosis recording. It's literally me, and they can listen to it every single day, and I can start rewiring their mindset to become millionaires. That's sick. That's a gift we give everyone.
Like what you did.
It's the Morgan Jim Rohn CD.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. It's it's changing the philosophies and rewiring and just weeding out all the shit, right? So Instagram Morgan T Nelson, and YouTube Morgan T Nelson, I think, or Morgan Nelson. You can find our podcast there. I've had amazing guests. We put a lot of content out. That's my 2 best places. So come follow us there. Come say hello.
Perfect. Morgan Nelson, everybody.
Thank you.
Boom, boom. Thanks, boys.
Well done. Thanks, Morgan.
Thank you.
Perfect.
It was a lot of fun.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.